there. My name is Marcel, and on behalf of Astromatrix, I'm here today to talk to you about Uranus Retrograde, which is coming up in a few days' time. And it starts on the 15th of August and carries on all the way through till the 14th of January. So it starts at the actual station starts a few days before, so we can already start feeling the intensity of this retrograde motion. And in fact, as it slows down, it actually gains more momentum and power, which means it's at its most intensive just before it actually stations to stop and then go backwards. So the Lebanon-Beirut explosion that happened over the last few days is a prime example of Uranus retrograde in action, starting to take shape and rear its ugly head. So Uranus is very electrical, it's very electrifying, and it's sudden shocks, and it can be of a natural cause or it can be man-made. And it's basically starting on the 14th and going all the way through, and for the first 6 weeks of this period, it'll be at 10 degrees. It'll stay at the 10 degree mark. So it starts at 10 degrees 47 and it goes all the way back. So it's quite a long time to be in just 10 degrees, and it's a very pivotal point. So it's really important to check your chart to see if you have any planets around 10 degrees, give or take 3 degrees, no more. And these would be the cardinal signs. It will be Leo, it'll be Capricorn, the fixed signs. It'll be Leo, Aquarius, and Taurus. So if you have any planets around those signs, this means that your aspect to Uranus will either be in a conjunction or a square or an opposition. And so there's a little bit more information that I need to give you about the build-up of this actual retrograde. So a few days before that, on the 13th of August, we have Mars going into a square with Pluto. So already there's some kind of tension that's been built up. And if Mars represents our lower mind and our personal will, Pluto represents the higher mind and the will of the collective, so to speak. And so wherever it is that we're not in balance with that higher will gets shaken up, especially if it's all about asserting our own personal will. And whenever there's a square, it's forcing us to get off our butts and do something about it. It's about action, it's about taking action, and it's very, very uncomfortable. And because of the repression with the COVID-19 that's been happening around the planet, and in a lot of places right now is starting to go into intense lockdown again, I think there has the potential to be intense outbursts around restriction and not having that outlet to express in a natural way. And this is what Uranus is about as well. It wants freedom, it wants to individuate. So the potential build-up from the Mars in Pluto, Mars square Pluto, the Mars in Aries squaring the Pluto in Capricorn, this happens just a few days before we do go retrograde. So what happens when a retrograde happens is that it's very close to the Earth and it's very powerful, and it has the potential to have an adverse effect. So it's not so much about taking action externally in the world, but actually internalizing and going inwards and working with wherever it is that we are not individuated or not liberated, or wherever it is that we're stuck within our being. So it's very helpful to check your chart out and see where Uranus lies in the chart in Taurus, and if there are any planets near 10 degrees, or as I mentioned, in a square or opposition in the fixed signs with Leo and or Aquarius. So this is huge if you do have any planets around this. And so again, check to see which house it is and check to see what the aspects are, because this will give you a lot of information as to the themes that you'll be working with. So once you're aware of which house it is, it can give you a sense of what the themes are that are coming up for you. and it'll allow you to bring awareness to the whole process. It takes a lot of objectivity to work through these times where we've got these really intense aspects going on the planet. Not only a lot of objectivity, but awareness and the decision to utilize the power of these planets and whatever it is that it's stirring up in you in order to transform. So the whole idea with Uranus is Uranus in Taurus is to allow yourself to get to a place of internalized peace so that you are no longer affected by the external. This is in an ideal scenario. So with all the intense planets that are happening right now, the Mars in a square to Pluto, to Saturn, the retrogrades, it's really about learning to come to a place of peace and objectivity and full awareness internally so that we're no longer shattered by what's happening on the outside. And we have control of what's happening on the outside. So as I mentioned, Uranus is a very electric planet, so it can create a lot of restlessness, and with it going retrograde, because it's internalized, it can create a lot of anxiety. And because we have such an intense planet of Mars in its sign of Aries, and it's in this square to Pluto, there's a lot of cardinal energy, a lot of fire. So this can add to the restlessness and the anxiety that we're feeling, and therefore it's really important that we have some kind of outlet, be it exercise or yoga, especially if you have a lot of fire signs, find a way to expel some of that energy, because a lot of deep things have the potential to get shaken up, where it is that you hold old wounds, old belief systems, old repressions, conditioning, old ways of seeing things. This will all get shaken up during this period because Uranus wants to liberate you. And of course, because it's in the sign of Taurus, which is a fixed sign, it's a contradiction to what Uranus is about, which is not a fixed sign. It's about change. So Taurus rules finances, wealth, money, security, and it wants to stay as it is. So whatever themes you may have for yourself within your life and your realm around security, wealth, money, your home will be affected very much as well. But also Taurus is linked to the earth, so we may experience more eruptions, volcanoes, earthquakes, all kinds of phenomena can happen. There may be more fires. This all has the potential to happen around the Uranus retrograde. So again, coming back to Taurus being in the sign of a fixed position, Uranus is going to have to push extra hard to create any lasting change. But once that shaking up does happen, and if we can bring enough awareness and objectivity to whatever it is that gets shaken up in us and just allow ourselves to go there, if it feels uncomfortable, it's probably exactly what is needed. And if you can bring your awareness to it, then there's no reason why you cannot go through huge shifts and transformation during this period. So yes, with regards to this transit, it's a powerful transit. It's lasting until January next year, and we've got a lot of intense retrogrades happening at the moment. Almost all of the planets are in retrograde, so it's very introspective and really going inwards, and then of course in September we have Mars going backwards as well, so this has the potential to be another period of intensity. So I'm going to pick 5 cards for the Uranus retrograde, just to get an idea of what it is that we're needing to shift. And so the first question is, where am I stuck within my life? These cards have been shuffled, so I'm going to pick them on the behalf of the collective. Where am I stuck in my life? Okay, and once again, this is on behalf of the collective. Okay, where am I stuck in my life? The next question is, where am I needing change? Okay, and the next question is, how can I bring transformation to my life? Radical transformation. All right. And then the last question is, what is Uranus retrograde asking of me? Alrighty. So the first question is, where am I stuck? The second question is, where am I needing change? The third question is, what will bring transformation into my life, radical change? And the fourth question is, what is Uranus asking of me? So for the first question, where am I stuck? We have the Emperor card, and the Emperor is about control and action. It's a very masculine sign. It's quite rigid. And personally, if I have to reflect on the biggest issue on this planet right now, it is largely to do with many of the patriarchal ways of driving forward, taking action. And it's solely seeking to serve itself. And it's partly, I feel, what is responsible for the destruction on the planet right now that is happening, that is creating these very intense transits that are happening around the planet. So for me, where am I stuck on this planet, it's talking about a softening that's needed. It's talking about a humility that is needed. It's talking about a allowing and a letting go that is needed. We're needing more Queen and less action and Emperor. We're needing more softening. And so with regards to where am I stuck, I feel that is what has potential to bring about change, and how else better to do that than through a lot of chaos. I feel we're all in for some kind of humbling experience with the intensity of all the transits that are happening at the moment, as well as what's happening on the planet right now. So the next question was, where am I needing change? And the card that's coming up is the Lover's card, and that feels pretty simple. It's around love. Where are we needing change? And it's asking for humanness and interaction and reaching out and connecting more on this planet. If you consider a lot of the traditional cultures, their ways was very community driven. And Uranus's bigger picture is all about a higher community. It's about serving the community and not the self-interest of the individual. And so I feel that this card is talking about that notion. It's talking about us starting to become aware of the possibility of what is a higher system look like, where we're all serving the system and not just our own individual needs. So the next question is, what radical change am I needing? What will bring about radical change? And we've got the Sun card, and this talks about joy, and it talks about happiness. And I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer, what will bring about radical change on this planet, and it's happiness. But that's what's coming up. It's the Sun card. And I think at the end of the day, when we've endured intensity, we're always broken open a little bit. It's like the heart cracks open a little bit more, and it allows more of the light to shine through. So potentially this is the process that we're undergoing and are about to undergo, if we can allow ourselves to it, and if we can allow more of that happiness in, as a result of the vulnerability of the intensity that we're allowing ourselves to go through to meet. And then lastly, the question is, what is Uranus retrograde wanting of me? And I'm getting the Five of Swords, and the Five of Swords is about moving away from doing the other person over. It's moving away from always having to win, always having to be in control. It's moving away from how it is that we, once again, it talks about the community, how it is that we isolate ourselves from the potential community through our competitiveness, and through how it is that we have to be the right one, or the one in charge, or the one in control. And so for me, this card is asking for us to return to a lightness of being, and to allow our hearts to expand and to be able to make space for not just our immediate family but for everybody around us. I feel those are the higher values of Aquarius, and I think that how Aquarius will shake us up is we will start having a sense of this higher way of living within community in the world. And wherever it is that we fall short of that, that's where we get shaken up. That's where the struggle will be. We may be, this information may start coming through to us, depending on where it is that we are on our paths, on our process, on our journeys. It's Uranus in Taurus is wanting a new way of managing the planet, new way of managing our resources, one that serves a bigger picture and not the individual pockets. And so with it going retrograde, we are reflecting on what that means for us as individuals and where it is that we fall short of that higher vision. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to our channel and leave your comments. Bye for now.